Hello and welcome to Property Hotline on India's first real estate business channel, Magicbricks Now. This is the show where we get you expert answers to all your real estate problems. So today we'll be answering questions related to buying, selling and investing in property with our expert for the day, Muddasir Zaidi. Now Muddasir is joining us from Delhi. He's the National Director of Knight Frank, where he heads the residential business. Muddasir, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining in. Let's get started with the show. We have a caller on the line first. I'm told Ramesh is calling in. Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you, Ramesh? Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
Where are you calling from? What's your question?
I'm calling from Mumbai. I have a question on a property in Bangalore.
Okay.
I've narrowed down on a location called Horamavu in North Bangalore. And I've also located a project which I'm interested in, and I would like to know if this location is good enough.
Okay.
And also if at this time when the slowdown is there in the real estate market, whether it is advisable to invest in Bangalore. I mean, I don't stay in Bangalore. My daughter is married and she settles in Bangalore, so I'm doing it for her.
Okay, so you're investing for your daughter. Ramesh, what is your budget?
My budget is anything between 50 and 60. It's a 2 BHK configuration I'm looking at.
Okay, 50 to 60 lakhs, 2 BHK configuration. Muddasir is looking at Horamavu. How is that area? What kind of a market is that?
See, it's a good market in my opinion. It's it's not a market where you have too many projects. You had Prestige project which sold quite well. There is a Kulta Patil project which is on. There is another Cummins Estate project which is there at that location as well. So not too many projects in that. However, it is a decently priced one. You know, the range would be about 4,100 to about 4,900 in that area. Prestige's project has more or less sold out. They only have very high-end inventory available out there. However, Kulte Patil is there and Cummins is there. I think in the longer term, it's a decent pie. Overall, Bangalore as a market, I think. So overall, you know, there is a slowdown going on in real estate, but Bangalore as a market has done pretty well, and will continue to do so. This particular micro market, my sense is it's not too far away from Outer Ring Road. This particular location is about 1.5–2 kilometers away. And so therefore good accessibility. There is a railway bridge which is currently a slight issue, but there is a proposal for an overbridge to be built over there. So my sense is Ramesh should look at it actively.
Right, you should look at it actively. And Ramesh, if you can look at your TV screen right now, we are showing you a chart which shows the rates in Horamavu, and it's currently standing at 4,195 rupees per square foot, which is the range, in fact, which Muddasir was referring to earlier. And rates have run up by about almost 11% in the last 1 year. So yeah, it's a great location. And like he said, Bangalore is a very stable market. So go ahead, Ramesh. Anything else? Any other question that you have?
I must add here that I have narrowed down on the Cummins project, and I'm speaking to the builders. So I only need to be reassured that I should go ahead with it.
Right, and Cummins is one of the names that Muddasir took, right, Muddasir?
Yes, we did, yes.
That's right.
Yeah. So yeah,
that's right. So Cummins is a good project. It's not a very large project, about 2.5 odd acres. It's a decent project to look at. I think in today's time, one can really look at it at. I think you can get inventories out there at about 4,100 to 4,300 in that range. So you should look at it seriously.
Right. So great choice, Ramesh. Go ahead, is what Muddasir is saying, right?
I'm almost finalized the thing. Thank you so much for the help.
Thank you so much for calling in. Moving on, we have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Welcome to Property Hotline. What's your name and where are you calling from?
My name is Sandeep and I'm calling from Bangalore.
Yes, Sandeep, what's your question?
My question is, I've decided to buy a flat, but I was just thinking my budget is somewhere around not more than 40 lakhs. So I was thinking if Sarjapur Road is a good place to invest. I'm looking at it as an investment purpose. maybe later on, maybe if I'm actually primarily looking at for an investment purpose.
Right. You
So I
want
just
to
wanted
you
to
want
know
to invest. Your budget is 40 lakhs. Any particular configuration you're looking at in Sarjapur Road?
Yeah, 3 BHK.
Sorry, 3 BHK you said.
Yeah, right.
Right, 3 BHK. Muddasir, Sarjapur Road is quite a location that has a lot of promise, I believe. 40 lakhs, what can it get you over there?
So sadly, there is not too much of inventory available at that ticket size. The price range in Sarjapur Road is roughly in the range of about 5,500 to about 6,000 levels. So therefore, about 1,000 square feet, 2 BHK itself will cost in the range of about 55-60 lakhs, and an all-in price of above that, with stamp duty, etc. Put in together. So there won't be too many options available at that number.
Would you recommend that he goes for a smaller flat than he's looking for a 3 BHK? Should he settle for a 2 BHK? And how does a 2 BHK work in that particular market as far as an investment option?
See, as I said, the average rates in that area is about 55 to 6,000, 5,500 to 6,000, and so about 1,000 square feet would roughly be a 2 BHK, not a 3
Not a
BHK
3
in that
BHK.
range. And so, yeah, certainly not a 3 BHK. Even a 2 BHK would be slightly above the number that you're talking about. So you will have to definitely stretch your budget to about 60 odd to be able to get decent options even in the 2 BHK category.
So, is there any other areas you would want to recommend which would probably fall within the 40 lakh budget in Bangalore?
There are obviously other areas a little outside of town that where you can look at. If he's looking at 3 BHK, a 3 BHK would be generally upwards of 1,200, 1,300 square feet, and therefore he will have to bring down the per square feet number to about about 4,000 odd levels, or actually about 3,500 levels if he has to go for a 3 BHK. But at about 4,000 odd levels, definitely there are options available, further down towards Yashwantpur, etc., which could be in that range. And so he'll have to be a little further away from the area that he's currently talking about.
Right, so Sandeep, that's your answer there. Sarjapur is probably a little out of your budget, especially if you're looking for a 3 BHK. But you could look at Yashwantpur instead with a 40 lakh budget. If not, you could, probably look to increasing your budget a little bit. And like Muddasir told us earlier, 5,500 is what is the kind of rate that you're looking at over there. And the average rate, if you look at our chart right now, is around 4,975 per square foot in Sarjapur Road. Rates have gone up 6.42% over the last 1 year. So if you're willing to extend your budget a little bit, if you're willing to increase your budget, then you can probably stick to Sarjapur Road or else look at Yashwantpur as an option, right?
Yeah, thank you. And I'll definitely try to increase my budget in that case and see if I can buy a 2 BHK. Maybe I would try to increase my budget to 50 lakhs so that I can at least buy a 2 BHK in that area.
Right, right. Do that. And if you have any issues, come back to us and we'll try and solve your problem then, right?
Sure, sure.
Thank you so much for calling in. Let's move on. We have another call on the line. I'm told KB Patel is joining us. Hello? Okay, I think we lost him over there. We'll take an email query next. RP Sharma has written in. Now, Muddasir, he says that he wants to buy a property in the Rustomjee Global City in Virar on resale. He wants to know what are the current rates in that area and what kind of price appreciation can he expect from this property.
See, the Rustomjee Global City area has various developers. It's not just about Rustomjee right now. They did take in other, or rather they had other developers also take in parcels of land. So there are multiple opportunities available. Rustomjee per se would be in the range of about 5,000 or so, and the other developers, which are generally local developers, smaller developers, would be in the range of about 3,800 to 4,000 levels. So so that's the price range that one can look at. However, in terms of the appreciation per se, it's a slightly long-term bet. Vasai Virar has been demarcated as another municipal corporation this time. So there is a VVMC which has come up.
Right.
They have got funds to develop that particular area. So certainly infrastructure projects coming in which will be helpful. Secondly, and most importantly, when the dedicated freight corridor and therefore the Delhi-Mumbai industrial corridor comes up, the node nearest to Mumbai would be also near to VVMC and this particular area,
So
and
would you
therefore
recommend like a
in the
10-year
longer
horizon?
term, my sense.
Sorry, would you recommend like
So
a
my
10-year
sense
horizon?
is, I would definitely see it as a long-term bet. Anything more than 5 years is definitely a good. In 10 years' time, definitely there would be significant appreciation in that area.
What kind of appreciation would you expect, say, like I said, like over 10 years? Since you said 5-year plus. So if you look at over 10 years, what kind
Uh,
of price appreciation would you expect?
See, it obviously depends on the infrastructure projects and other things to come about. Assuming that all these projects do come about, and in terms of the DMIC corridor that starts stabilizing, etc., I think it could definitely see multi-bagger returns in about 10 years' time. Definitely, double to upwards of that in the next 10 years is definitely possible, maybe even more. But it's all going to be factored in after these infrastructure projects, etc., that are coming about,
Right.
and the overall stability, etc., and for it to really for people to actually start living in there will definitely have
Right.
a positive impact.
So, Mr. Sharma, that's a word. The word that Muddasir used was multi-bagger. That's not a word that people are using very often. Experts are using very often for too many markets currently. He said multi-bagger, which means you can expect really good returns, but over a very long term. So, you'll have to hold it for at least 10 years or more. Wait for the infrastructure projects to come in, and then you will see property appreciating over here. Currently, like Muddasir said, rates range between 3,800 to 4,000 and more. The average rate, if you're looking at the chart that we're putting out right now, is 4,340 rupees per square foot. It's actually gone down a bit by by around 4% in the last 1 year, but that's also because markets have stayed flat. But like Muddasir said, it stands to benefit from a variety of infrastructure projects. So you could expect good returns from here, right? Let's move on. We have Mr. Patel on the phone now with us. Mr. Patel? Hello? Mr. KB Patel, can you hear me? Okay, I think we are not going to get a call today. Let's move on. Gregory Roman has sent in his question via email. He wants to know the property rates in Badlapur, Ambarnath and Panvel, and he wants to know whether these areas are good for investment. Muddasir?
Yeah, so Panvel definitely has kind of currently transformed into a very acceptable market right now. Navi Mumbai as a market in the last many years has really has gone up because of the IT sector. A lot of IT companies having large campuses, etc., are on the Thane Belapur road, and therefore the job creation that has happened and office space that has got created has also led to a lot of people living that side and commuting to work nearby. I mean, it's always in Mumbai, it's always a huge problem commuting to work. An hour and a half is the general commute time for a lot of people. So I mean, it's going to be a great thing if people can stay near to where their place of work is. So a lot of people do that, and Navi Mumbai has really benefited from that.
Muddasir, since you're
Panvel
talking
as
about Navi Mumbai, sorry, since you're talking about Navi Mumbai and Panvel especially, the airport is scheduled to come up soon, which is Panvel essentially. But do you think that most of the appreciation because of the airport has already been factored in, or do you see some more run up?
Say a lot of the appreciation for that area has been factored in. However, the airport, etc., has been such a long delayed project, and yeah, we are still yet to see it really take off up till now. Obviously, the permissions, etc., have started coming in, but the work, etc., has to really start on full pace for it to get completed. So I'm sure there is still one or two triggers remaining. One for the actual airport to come about, and eventually for it to really stabilize as a region for people staying there, and getting the benefits out of the direct impact of the airport and the indirect impact
Right.
of the airport coming in. So
Right.
I'm sure there are a couple of triggers still waiting. However, the prices have already gone up significantly. Panvel has reached in the range of about 5.5 to about 6,500. That's the range that most Panvel projects are really quoting at.
right now.
Thankfully, a
And
lot of
Muddasir, if you could just hold on a bit, we have seen prices run up now at almost 10% in the last 1 year, and they are, like
Yeah.
Muddasir rightly pointed out, between 5.5 and 6,000 is a range per square foot is a range that you can expect in Panvel. Muddasir, very quickly, if you could tell us about the Badlapur and Ambernath market, because he also asked about those two markets.
See, those other markets are still slightly further off and largely accessible by train, etc. It's not really. I mean, obviously, the road network is there, but just the way that Panvel can be easily accessed by road along with rail as well. It's more towards rail that people are utilizing, to reach these locations. So it's still a market which is so unlike Panvel, which is now where a lot of large developers, a lot of mainstay developers have come about, and you have the bigger guys being Indibulls
Right.
and Vadvas and Hindanani, etc., being pretty active there, and therefore the kind of projects that are coming in are all very large and slightly higher end and out there. The other areas are still catering to the middle sector as such, and therefore a number of smaller developers who are quite active there. However, the range is nearer to about 4,500
Right.
in that area as well, both for Badlapur and Amarnath.
Right. Very quickly, Muddasir, what would be your pick between Panvel, Badlapur and Ambernath?
See, any day, Panvel would be a better pick
Panvel
because
would
it
be a
is
better
a
pick.
far more mainstream market, far better projects. The infrastructure is far better. The airport is coming by. The job creation
Right.
and economic activity
Right,
out there is
Muddasir, I will have to
far more
stop.
superior.
I will have to stop you there. Panvel would be the best pick among the lot, Gregory, if you want to go in for one of these locations. Muddasir Zaidi of Knight Frank is still with us. He joins us from Delhi. Muddasir, let's get on. Mr. Patel has finally joined us on the phone. So let's take his question next. Yes, Mr. Patel, tell us what's your question. Mr. Patel?
Yes,
Yes, sir. Tell us what's your question.
I would like to purchase. I would like to buy open land residential plot at
Yes.
new developing area at Baroda.
Okay, what's your budget?
20 or 25 lakhs.
20 to
Total.
25 lakhs, and you want to buy a residential plot in Baroda, and Muddasir is very clear that he wants to buy it in a newly developing area. What would you recommend?
See, I would say there are upcoming areas towards the west and the northwest of Baroda. So areas like Channi Jagat Naka, that's an area that one can look at. Then there is an area called Gorva, or there are areas like Gorva Dera Road where one can look at. These are upcoming areas, and where currently, in terms of square feet per square feet numbers, roughly the rates in Chandni Jagat Naka area would be in the range of about 2,500 to about 3,500 rupees a square feet. Gorva would be in the range of about 3 to 4,000, and the Gorva Dera area would be in the range of about 2,000 to 2,600. So these areas one can look at on an active basis for an upcoming development area to look at.
Right. Muddasir, any specific reason why you are picking these as an upcoming location? Is there any infrastructure project or anything that Mr. Patel could look forward to over there? What would be the growth driver?
So these are newly being developed. See, areas like Baroda per se, in terms of pricing per se, the most expensive region would be in the range of 10-11,000. It's not more than that. So overall, there is decent accessibility in terms of infrastructure, and therefore, what I'm, the prices per se are not going to be very different in the newer areas. However, this area is where a lot of new developments are coming in,
Okay.
and they should look at this particular area quite actively.
Right.
The other area that one can look at is, if specifically one is talking about infrastructure per se, then the areas towards NH8 and the airport could also be interesting. So there is something called Ajwa Road that one can look at. Those areas could also be quite interesting if it is infrastructure that one looks at. So Ajwa Road could be another option to look at.
Right. So you can look at Channi Jagat Naka, you can look at Gorwa or Gorwa Dera Road. This is where a lot of new developments are coming in, Mr. Patel. Another area that Muddasir recommends is Ajwa Road. Now Ajwa Road is where there's a lot of infrastructure developments happening, right?
Good, right. Thank you.
Enough to work with. If you have any other problems, do call us back, Mr. Patel. Right? Thank you so much for calling in. Let's move on. I'm told we have another caller on the line. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, welcome to Property Hotline.
Hello.
May I know who's calling?
Ma'am, good evening. I'm Niranjan Balyan from Delhi.
Yes, Niranjan. Good evening to you too. Tell us what's your question?
Kavita ma'am, good afternoon. My question is, I have invested 4 years back on Dwarka Expressway at the rate of 4,200 rupees per square feet, all inclusive.
Okay.
Now, whether I should quit now, I should sell it this, or I should continue, or I should wait.
Okay, you booked in Dwarka Expressway 4 years ago, and you want to know whether you want to
11.
hold it or whether you should hold it or move on, right?
Yes.
How much did you pay then?
Pardon?
Niranjan, how much did you pay when you invested? At what rate did you buy this particular
I have
project?
at the rate of 4,200 rupees per square feet, all inclusive. 3,500 rupees per square feet BSP plus 700 rupees other charges.
Right.
So it was total 4,200 rupees per square feet.
So that's it. What would you say? 4,200 per square foot at Dwarka Expressway. Should he hold or should he sell?
I'd like a little bit more information about this, because Dwarka Expressway is clearly divided in two parts. The areas which are currently accessible from NH8, which is basically sectors 80 to about 100, those are immediately accessible from NH8. And the other areas which are between 100 and 115, which are currently only accessible from Dwarka Expressway, which is not ready, and from from the local roads currently that are there. So this particular project, which sector is it in? That would be interesting to know
Is it
before I
located
give a
which
comment on
sector?
it.
It is in sector 103. It is just in front of the railway station. That flyover is there. It is just in front of that.
Sector 103 in front of the
Okay.
railway
Yeah.
station, Muddasir. Could you?
Sure, understood. See, my sense is that currently 103 etc. is not really accessible from NH8. So the first movement that is happening towards stability is towards between sectors 80 to 100, which is where the roads are ready and it's immediately accessible from the main highway. 103 is still going to be impacted by the availability or unavailability of Dwarka Expressway and how soon it comes by. However, your price that you bought at is a pretty decent price. Prices there have already risen
Right.
to a larger extent, at least from what the developers are giving. However, the problem is that this particular market has seen a lot of investors buying in, just the way that you're an investor out there, because the accessibility is not really there. there is a lot of investor exit that is happening in these areas, because there is still some time away for the expressway to really come into actual use, and for real settlements to happen there, as in people living there, and from a social infrastructure point of view, for it to really settle down. So still investors who are there who are also exiting out. So there is pressure on prices in the resale market.
Right.
There
So,
is a
Muddasir,
difference
would you
between
recommend
what
that
the
he
resale
holds on
market
to
offers.
it now? Would you recommend that he holds on to
My
it?
sense is yes. My definite advice would be to hold on. If there is capacity to hold on for some time, my sense is nearer to when the Dwarka Expressway is delivered, that is when we will see much further appreciation coming in and a lot more interest coming in, and therefore the exit price could be far better. So hold on if you have the capacity to do it.
Right, Niranjan, and if you can see the chart on your screen right now, we have seen rates go up from what you bought at. You bought at 4,200. It's currently averaging at 5,235 rupees per square foot. Also, rates have gone up around 2.24% over the last 1 year. But like Muddasir said, there is even more growth in store. So if you could hold on, that would be ideal. Wait for the Dwarka Expressway to be built.
Kavita ma'am, how much time for how much time I should hold it?
That's what Muddasir just told you. Wait for that expressway to be complete. That's when you will actually see growth kicking in.
Okay.
So if you can hold, if you have the capacity to hold on to it, right?
Okay.
Okay, Niranjan, thank you so much for calling in. With that, it's a wrap on today's show, Property Hotline. We are completely out of time here. Muddasir, thank you so much for joining in from Delhi. Muddasir, thanks a lot for joining in, and hope to see more of you in future, right? And we'll be back on Monday with another expert who will answer all your queries on buying, selling or investing in property. So use the weekend well, look for your property and then get back to us with your questions. We'll get them answered on Property Hotline. Till then, keep watching Magicbricks Now. Thank you so much.